is a firewall? A firewall is a security device that monitors network traffic. It protects the internal network by filtering incoming and outgoing traffic based on a set of established rules. Setting up a firewall is the simplest way of adding a security layer between a system and malicious attacks. How does a firewall work? A firewall is a place on the hardware or software level of a system to secure it from malicious traffic. Depending on the setup, it can protect a single machine or a whole network of computers. The device inspects incoming and outgoing traffic according to predefined rules. Communicating over the internet is conducting by requesting and transmitting data from a sender to receiver. Since data cannot be sent as a whole, it is broken up into manageable data packets that make up the initially transmitted entity. The role of a firewall is to examine data packets traveling to and from the host.
Although they all serve to prevent an unauthorized access, the operation methods and overall structure of firewalls can be quite diverse. According to their structure, there are three types of firewalls: software firewalls, hardware firewalls, or both. The remaining types of firewalls specified in this list are firewall techniques which can be set up as software or hardware.
Packet filtering firewalls. When it comes to type of firewall based on their method of operation, the most basic type is packet filtering firewalls. It serves as an inline security checkpoint attached to a router or a switch. As the name suggests, it monitors network traffic by filtering incoming packets according to the information they carry. As explained, each data packet consists of a header and the data it transmits. This type of firewall decides whether a packet is allowed or denied access based on the header information. To do so, it inspects the protocol, source IP address, destination IP, source port, and destination port. Depending on how the number match the access control list, the packet are passed on or dropped. If a data packet doesn't match all the required rules, it won't be allowed to reach the system. Packet filtering firewall is a fast solution that doesn't require a lot of resources. However, it isn't the safest. Although it inspects the header information, it doesn't check the data itself. Because malware can also be found in the section of data packet, the packet filtering firewall is not the best option for strong system security. The advantages of packet filtering firewalls are fast and efficient for filtering headers, don't use up a lot of resources, and low cost. And the disadvantages are no payload check, vulnerable to IP spoofing, cannot filter application layer protocols, no user authentication.
Circuit-level gateways. Circuit-level gateways are a type of firewall that work at the session layer of the OSI model, observing TCP connections and sessions. Their primary function is to ensure the established connections are safe. In most cases, circuit-level firewalls are built into some type of software or an already existing firewall. Like packet filtering firewalls, they don't inspect the actual data but rather the information about the transaction. Additionally, circuit-level gateways are practical, simple to set up, and don't require a separate proxy server. The advantage of circuit-level gateways are resource and cost efficient, provide data hiding, and protect against address exposure. And lastly, check TCP handshakes. While the disadvantage of circuit-level gateways are no content filtering, no application layer security, and requires software modifications.
Application-level gateways or proxy server firewalls. A proxy firewall serves as an intermediate device between internal and external systems communicating over the internet. It protects a network by forwarding requests from the original client and masking it as its own. Proxy means to serve as a substitute, and accordingly, that is the role it plays. It substitutes for the client that is sending the request. When a client sends a request to access a web page, the message is intersected by the proxy server. The proxy forwards the message to the web server, pretending to be the client. Doing so hides the client's identification and geolocation, protecting it from any restriction and potential attacks. The web server then responds and gives the proxy the requested information, which is passed on to the client. One of its advantages is it protects the system by preventing contact with other networks. Second, it ensures user anonymity. Lastly, it unlocks geolocational restrictions. And disadvantages, first is it may reduce performance. Second, it needs additional configuration to ensure overall encryption. And lastly, not compatible with all network protocols.
Screened host firewalls. There are two types of screened host firewalls. One is a single home bastion host and the other one is the dual home bastion host. In case of a single home bastion host, the firewall system consists of a packet filtering router and a bastion host. A bastion host is basically a single computer with a high security configuration which has the following characteristics. Traffic from the internet can only reach the bastion host. They cannot reach the internal network. Traffic having the IP address of the bastion host can only go to the internet, nor traffic from the internal network can go to the internet. This type of configuration can have a web server placed in between the router and the bastion host in order to allow the public to access the server from the internet. The main problem with a single host bastion host is that if the packet filter route gets compromised, the entire network will be compromised. To eliminate this drawback, we can use the dual home bastion host firewall system, where a bastion host has two network cards. One is used for internal connection and the second one is used for connection with the router. In this case, even if the router got compromised, the internal network will remain unaffected since it is in the separate network zone. Screened subnet firewalls. This is one of the most secured firewall configurations. In this configuration, two packet filtering routers are used and the bastion host is positioned in between the two routers. In a typical sense, both the internal and the external users have access to the screened subnet, but the traffic flow between the two subnets, one is from the bastion host to the internal network and the other one is the subnetwork between the two routers, is blocked.